address your question to whichever fighters. Mr. Morgan, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving. John Morgan here, guys. Starting things off with Olivier Aubin-Mercier. If we could please, Olivier, you teased all along this might very well be your last fight, your last season. With that in mind, has this fight week been any different? Have you taken things in any differently, knowing that it could be the last time you do this?
No, with this everything.
Fighters, please remember, push the button on your microphone.
Sorry, I stopped listening to anything right now. But yes, but yeah, everything was easier this week, because I know it's the last time, so everything was almost fun. Weigh-in was so easy, and well, this is not fun, but there, it's really not fun. But that was good.
Yeah, I did wonder though, as Sean mentioned, the big news with the Bellator roster around now. Did that maybe get you thinking a little bit? I mean, you win here, maybe you face a Bellator champion next year. There's so many things you could do rather than maybe just run into a season again. So did that maybe change the possibilities of, hey, maybe I might stick around a little longer?
Yeah, for sure, it make me think, but the sand on my feet gonna be make me think more.
Very much, I understand. He played for you as well. I mean, listen, he said you developed a reputation as one of the most exciting fighters in the sport, but you want to be champion, I guess. So what are your emotions like right now, being on the eve of finally fulfilling that goal you've been working on for a couple seasons?
I'm just going to go in there and have fun and do what I love to do, and whatever happens, happens, man.
We know it'll be an exciting fight. I want to ask you as well. You've also taken out a lot of high-profile free agents, big names. You got a task in hand right here. Have you started to look at maybe that Bellator roster a little, start picking some names off, or maybe some people you'd like to take out next year?
I think our champ is out because he failed the test, so I mean, he's the only one I have my eyes on, so.
My first question is for Braga. I'm curious, there are a lot of Brazilians on this card and have been throughout the season. Have you guys been able to come together and lean on each other this season at all?
Gabriel, vários brasileiros nesse card, aqui na PFL em geral, essa temporada. Existe uma amizade, uma irmandade entre vocês, um ajuda o outro? Qual é o sentimento entre os brasileiros aqui na PFL?
Cara, eu tenho uma afinidade com todos. Eu tenho a minha essência e eu sou feliz e tá todo mundo bem, entendeu? Quem me tratar bem, quem quiser ser meu amigo, vai ser meu amigo, porque eu sou esse aqui, velho. Não só os brasileiros, todo mundo.
Well, regardless of your nationality, I'm just myself. I'm a people person. I love hanging out. I love getting to know other people. I love smiling and chatting it up. So regardless of where you're from, if you're nice to me, I'll be as nice to you.
Next question for Impa. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about your journey and the sacrifices you've made this season to get you here today.
Happy Thanksgiving. The sacrifices made this season just testimony to trust in my call and God's put me here to fight. PFL's been awesome to me, right? A year ago, it was in the farm, a little bit before that in the car. But I just know that, you got a great gym at Joe Cliff, and just know that it's my call to fight. I just had to stay committed to the process. And the sacrifice is always worth it because I'm sitting here today fighting an excellent fighter, Josh Silvera, great legacy, great lineage, and that's what you want to do to become a champion. Those are the guys that want to fight. So for me, it's just like when I reflect on it, I think about it as every time you go through something challenging, you got to understand the other side of it. Like, God has something better for you. Just stick with it,
Renan, primeiro, feliz aniversário. Queria te perguntar, você já está competindo aqui na PFL faz alguns anos, já participou de torneios antes. O que você traz de diferente para essa temporada? O que você aprendeu? O que é diferente para você? Que te credencia a ser campeão finalmente esse ano?
And first and foremost, happy birthday, my friend. You've been around the PFL for a while. This is your third season. What do you bring to the table this season that's different than what you brought the last two that's made you successful this time?
Obrigado pelas felicitações aí, Diego. E com certeza me sinto mais experiente, mais treinado, mais capacitado e cada vez querendo mais. Esse ano cheguei nessa final, estou muito feliz e vou dar um show aí e conseguir essa vitória.
Appreciate the birthday wishes. Just experience, mileage, and knowledge of how the sport works. I'm extremely well trained, had a great camp, very, very motivated and happy to be here.
Larissa, recentemente, essa semana, a PFL anunciou que comprou o Bellator e muitos fãs, social media, fóruns, muito se fala sobre a possibilidade de uma luta entre a Kayla Harrison e a Casey Gordon. Você, como campeã, tendo a oportunidade de ser campeã em 2 categorias, como você se sente vendo essa possível ou hipotética luta tão comentada? Você se sente talvez um pouco desrespeitada? Deveria ser o seu nome, deveria ser jogado ali, é o seu nome que deve ser apontado como para super lutas, é isso que você quer?
Larissa, with the purchase, the PFL's purchase of Bellator, a lot of people are talking about, the potential fight between Kayla Harrison and Chris Cyborg. You're out here trying to cement your legacy as the first 2-division champion with the PFL. How does it feel to have Kayla's name be the one mentioned on the Chris Cyborg matchup? Is this something that makes you feel disrespected, not to have your name on that conversation, given the fact that you're fighting for the belt tomorrow night?
Bom, eu acho que quando essas conversas surgiram, né, eles não achavam que a Keila deixaria de ser campeã em nenhum momento, mas isso foi uma coisa que aconteceu. Hoje eu sou atual campeã e tenho a possibilidade esse ano de me tornar, né, bicampeã da PFL em 2 categorias diferentes. Então, se for campeão versus campeã, eu acho que o meu nome tem que estar na frente dessa vez.
Well, I think when these conversations started about Kayla facing Cyborg, PFL and the MMA world thought that Kayla would, remain champion. So things have changed. I'm the current champion. Tomorrow, I look forward to cementing my legacy even further. And if it's a champion versus champion conversation, that I believe my name should be, the headline on.
Question for Jesus Pinedo. Jesus, obviously it's just been a few months since you first fought Gabriel Braga. What can you tell us in terms of the ways that you've developed as a fighter and as a person since that first fight? What can he expect tomorrow night?
Jesús, ha sido solo unos cuantos meses desde tu primera lucha con Braga. ¿Cómo has mejorado y qué esperas ser mejor esta vez?
Siento que he mejorado mucho en todo sentido, ¿no? Desde que empezó el torneo no soy el mismo peleador, he entrenado muy fuerte, pero más que en lo técnico y en lo físico, mentalmente estoy muy fuerte, ¿no? Para esta pelea y para las peleas que vengan.
Overall, I've gotten better during this tournament. My mentality has changed a lot. I feel physically much more ready for this fight, and I'm ready for any fight in the future.
And for Josh Silvera, Josh, obviously it's been a long road for you from last year's playoffs to now getting ready to fight in the championship. What can you tell us in terms of the biggest things that you learned about yourself as a person and as a fighter? From
Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So everything's good and everybody. Some of the things I've learned, just maturing, accepting when things don't go your way all the time, growing from it, just taking it day by day, just trying to get 1% better and always trying to be a better guy than I was yesterday, right? So I think from last year to this year, I'm a completely different person. I'm a better human being, a better athlete, better fighter, just a better man in general,
Question for Miss Kayla Harrison. Curious, how have you compared the rebound process for your first MMA loss compared to your first judo loss, if you compared them at all?
Can you say that again? It's hard to hear here.
How have you kind of compared the rebound process after the first losses?
In judo, I think it's really, you're lucky that you don't have to sit on a loss for very long. You're competing back to back to back. There's a European tour, an Asian tour, a South American tour, the World Championships, the World Master. Like there's a tournament every single month, sometimes multiple a month. So if you lose, you don't have too long to sit there and marinate in it, so to speak. So this was a long process for me, but a beautiful one. I think that I came out of it
a better person, kind of like Josh was just saying. You know, I have had a whole year to grow inside the cage. I've been training hard and also outside of the cage. I feel like I'm a better mom, I'm a better friend, I'm a better teammate, I'm a better human being, and I have real joy in my life, and every day I get to wake up and do what I love. So it's sometimes, you know, God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers.
A question for Aspen. Obviously, with the Bellator addition to PFL now, it's reignited the Cyborg talks for a Kayla fight. And I'm just curious, you know, in general, does it bother you being kind of overlooked for things like that? Or do you enjoy it? Just how have you taken hearing those kind of things?
Not at all. As far as those talks, for example, I wasn't supposed to be here. This was a short notice, beautiful opportunity for me to be here. So I have not thought about that in any way as far as like it's an insult not to be included in that conversation. You have Larissa over here fighting for a belt. You have Kayla who's been the face of the organization. So no, there's no like, oh my gosh, I wasn't considered. Didn't even occur to me.
Question for Sadovich side. Sadovich is over here. You're here again in the same position as you were last year. How would you compare the feelings from now to last year, having had the experience of winning it?
To be honest, the feeling is the same. The most important thing is always the next fight for me. I take every fight as serious as I can. So being here is a blessing, and it's something that, to be honest, I really don't take for granted. Even though I really train my ass off and I'm obsessed and I make sure I do whatever it takes to be here, it's nothing that I take for granted. This season, as everyone up here can tell you about, is so grueling. It's 4 fights in 7-8 months, weight cuts, except for the big guys. It's so nothing is certain. So being here again is a blessing.
Sure, you obviously don't want to look too far ahead, but if you are victorious and you would have done the grueling season twice on the spin, in terms of, sort of next year, would you put yourself through it again to do the hat trick, or would you potentially look at the Bellator All-Star, the PFL Super Fight Series? Where do you think your future would lie next year?
To be honest, all my focus is on tomorrow. But I have a beautiful team around me, and I know that after this fight we will get together and we'll see what the future holds.
Question for Magomed. Magomed, you've already beat Sadovich once. That fight was just over 2 years ago. You and him have both been on a great winning streak since then. Do you see this as a rematch, or do you think it will go very different to the first fight?
Магомед, вопрос вам. Вы уже с Sadovich встречались 2 года назад. Опыт у вас есть, и с этого времени он изменился, вы изменились. Ты это воспринимаешь как рематч, то есть как у вас повторный, или ты считаешь, что вы подходите как новые люди к этому бою?
Да, 2 года назад мы встречались с Абиду. Он тоже вырос как боец, я тоже вырос. Это для меня не как реванш. Это может ему, это реванш. А для меня это очередной бой, очередная победа. Иншаллах, и хочу забрать Борис.
Yeah, indeed. We met up a couple of years ago, and I see that Sadovich grew since that time. For him, it might be a rematch. For me, it's not. You know, I had a lot of opponents, and I keep training. I just look forward to getting my belt, and help God, we're going to get it done.
This question from Marina. I wanted to ask, do you believe that the winner of this fight is pound for pound the best women's fighter on the planet?
Марина, вопрос вам. Считаете ли вы, что победитель этого боя будет лучшим бойцом паунд на паунд во всем мире?
Безусловно, пояс — это высшая награда в этом гран-при, это моя цель, и я не думаю о том, кто передо мной стоит. Я лишь совершенствуюсь как боец, быть лучшей своей версией и идти дальше.
For me personally, it's about my growth. I've gone a long way, you know, I'm happy to be here. I've been training, I've been practicing. I'm looking forward to get the belt. But again, for me, it's mostly conquering myself and improving myself.
And for Dennis, I wanted to know, do you feel that the winner of your fight should fight Francis Ngannou next after his moving to boxing and
when he goes back to MMA next year? Денис, вопрос вам. Считаете ли, что победитель этого боя в следующем году потенциально должен выйти на Фрэнсис Нгану как оппонента?
Ну, на самом деле загадывать не будем, но, судя по всему, завтра выясним, кто чемпион, и ну, вполне возможно, чемпион имеет право претендовать на этот бой, почему нет.
I don't want to jump ahead, but yeah, tomorrow we have to have a fight tomorrow first, and I think the champion of that fight probably going to have to face him possibly next year.
Hey, Olivier, if PFL offer you a super fight against Usman Nurmagomedov, would you accept? And do you believe you will have the keys to victory?
I don't know. I don't really think about that right now. And to be honest, right now, I don't care.
Perfect. Thank you. Sadibou, are you a better striker than Cedric Doumbé? He talked a lot about you.
100%.
Thank you very much.
Josh, if you were to win the belt, would you ask to get your father to wrap the belt around your waist?
Absolutely. I think that's the plan. That's the game plan already. So him and Ray are gonna have to figure that out in there.
Hey, Aspen. So I'm curious, you're quite documented as a big hiker. Washington, D.C.'s got some nice trails. Have you been able to be out this week at all?
Unfortunately, on weeks like this is a work trip. So there's really not much time for anything else, but it's awesome in its own way. Like there's certain things, like I'll go see some museums and things, but no, I'm here to handle business. I'm here to basically take care of my obligations for this week. And that's really all that's on my mind on basically a hike trip, a work trip.
And for IMPA, I mean, reflect really quick for me the past experiences you've had going from 2021 to now being an inch away from $1 million. When you think about your process over the last couple of years, what comes to mind?
When I reflect from 2021 to now, I'm just grateful, right? When I got that knockout, and luckily knocked me out, I said, play that highlight as much as you want. When I get to become a champion, play that highlight too. So I'm here. Tomorrow, claim victory, I move forward. I'm grateful. So it's just, you gotta stay the course, right? My dad always say, like, in order to know my glory, you first have to understand my story. And when I really reflect on the story, like, there's no glory without a great story. There's nothing to be gained in playing small, nothing to be gained in not taking a risk, and nothing to be gained about fighting average fighters. Again, you know, they just mentioned Josh and his dad and see what they've done together. And like, if any time to earn a title, that's tomorrow, right? That's the day you do it. So it's an honor. And I think you get those moments after you go through some challenging times. And it doesn't mean my life is more challenging than the next person. It's just happened to be mine. And I get a shirt on a world stage, and hopefully people can see my life as an inspiration for them. And they can realize, because I think a lot of people around this world go through a lot harder things than me. My parents coming to this country from Congo, and all the fighters up here too have their own stories. So when I reflect on it, I hope I can do something that people can relate to. And, you know, Clemens victory tomorrow will be that great moment. It doesn't take away from this guy over here, his dad, or anything they've done. It just makes you realize, like, no matter how you go, no matter how low you go, you just got to stay steady in the process.
My first question is for Kayla. You're coming back from your first loss. In the time that you've been kind of recovering and coming back to get ready for your next fight, what kind of weapons and tools have you added to improve yourself as a fighter?
It's hard to add weapons when you're just a freaking weapon of yourself, you know what I mean? But I just got really comfortable. Do you have something to say, Sean? Would you like to chime in here?
I just want to watch you.
I'm best excited. Where was I? Yeah. Listen, I just spent the last year getting humble again, getting hungry. I was a training partner for all of my teammates. I was in the gym every day, working hard. I got really comfortable being uncomfortable. And I feel like I've grown everywhere. I've gotten better in my striking. I've gotten better in my submissions. I've gotten better in my ground and pound. I've gotten better in my range, my distance, my control, my composure, my Fitness, I mean, I think I've grown a lot in this last year and I'm excited to show everybody tomorrow night.
For Clay Collar, you and OAM both fought Shane separately and you had different approaches to taking him down and to winning the fight. How do you think that combined experience is going to play into your fight tomorrow?
I think we're both very different fighters from Shane. So I think it's irrelevant. He's a completely different type of fighter, and I think I am as well. So yeah, I'm just excited to get in there and test myself against OAM.
Last question is for Impa. When we were in New York, we saw you on the floor with a camera taking pictures with all of us. When can we see more of that?
So, thanks. How you doing? You know, for me, it was an honor to get to work with Cooper and Matt and everybody in the media team. So thanks for including me. It's fun learning, like, to see the other side of the case. Like, a shout out to the staff at PFL. You all do a great job. Happy Thanksgiving. So, I plan to go to the PFL Europe card in Ireland, so I'd like to go maybe do that, help them get some shots. As you know, for me, it started a series and I'll share it after the season, but Asher's doing behind the scenes shots of just the people on staff. They work hard. They're here on Thanksgiving. They're doing so much stuff for us. Like, we get photos all the time, right? So they got to ask them to take home too. That's my main thing. So hopefully every other fight when I'm not fighting, we'll see as long as PFL allows me to do it.
Kayla, this question's for you. I see as of late you were training with the GOAT in grappling, Gordon Ryan. Talk to me about that experience.
Well,
I saw you were training with Gordon Ryan, the GOAT in grappling. Talk to me about that experience.
I mean, he is just such a character, isn't he? I don't have much. He didn't come over to my mat. He stayed on the other mat. He was like, I don't know about that judo stuff. No, it was great to have him at the gym. He came down, worked with all the big guys. Him and Mako have, you know, legendary goes, him and Checha and Andre. I mean, just all the big guys at the gym. So it's always fun. American Top Team is beautiful in that way, right? Like, we have such a deep roster and amazing coaches, great facility, and we get all kinds of really cool visitors who come in and want to step at me, but I just gotta.
I got you. And Sadhu, actually, this question goes for Sadhu and obviously you guys advertised to Africa, right? And Francis is coming over. Pending the outcome of tomorrow and you guys will become champions, what will be the magnitude of you guys, you three, headlining a PFL Africa card?
It's one of the easiest questions tonight. That would be a deep comfort.
You're the son of immigrants, right? You to represent Congo in the United States. I think it'd be an honor to headline a PFL Africa card with Francis. He's done so much for MMA, Cyber over here. He's killing it too, right? And to be a part of that, to be mentioned that's what dreams are made of. To see my dad, you know, the flag, my dad sewed my flag together, right? And, you know, to carry his flag, my mom's flag in the great continent of Africa and just show that people can make it too, no matter the circumstance. It'd be a great honor.
One last question here.
Hi, Josh. You are one of 4 team members here competing for the American Top Team. So what does it mean for you to become potentially the 8th champion in the PFL from ATT?
It means a lot. You know, being a champion is something that I've been going after my whole life. Being part of American Top Team, so the best team in the world really is. That's even more of a staple of what I'm doing, you know, watching my dad, Dan, and Richie, Primo, all these guys that nobody knows. They're the background guys that built the team the way that it's built. There's a reason why we're at every event. You look at the cars, there's AT guys all the time. You know, we're always ready. So for me to give this back to them, this is just a little bit of being grateful. And I'm glad the way that it's structured, right? Killcliff, ATT, my dad's the head coach. This is a lot. This is for all the marbles right here. And I love it. I tell everybody all the time, pass me the ball, I'll shoot the last shot. pass me the ball. Don't pass it to no one else. I like this position. I love the pressure, and ATT gets a belt tomorrow night for sure.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to wrap up the presser. We appreciate all of you in the press for coming in and who submitted questions. Obviously, thank you to all the fighters.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome. And especially happy Thanksgiving. We know it's a sacrifice to be here on a night like this one. Hopefully everyone has an opportunity tomorrow night, Black Friday, set aside that $50 for your pay-per-view because we have 5 world title fights and the return of two-time champions against stellar opponents. Derek Brunson making his PFL debut, Aspen Ladd looking to pull off a huge statement win, and 5 $1 million checks and 5 gold belts on our pay-per-view card will be handed out. The coverage actually will begin at 5 o'clock with our pre-show on ESPN+. And then, of course, we have some showcase bouts leading up to our first title bout of the evening. That one will be at featherweight. Gabriel Braga and Jesus Pinedo. These guys are 25 and 27 years old, the absolute future of this sport, already squaring off for a $1 million world championship. It's only going to get bigger and better from here as the PFL has acquired Bellator, doubling the size of the roster. We are now on par with the UFC in terms of top-ranked fighters in the world. 30% of our fighters and 30% of their fighters are ranked among the top in the world, looking to be a global MMA powerhouse and a co-leader in this space. Tune in tomorrow night on ESPN Plus and on ESPN pay-per-view as the 2023 PFL season comes to an end here in Washington, D.C. Fighters are all weighed in. The hay is in the barn, so to speak. The work has been done, and the fun part is tomorrow night as we watch the dream come true for 6 different fighters, for 6 title hopefuls. They will have to hit the reset button and come back for the 2024 season. But it's the beauty of the PFL True Sports format. Even if you don't win the championship this year, 3 months from now, you can begin the journey again. Here's the Women's Championship. One of those men will take home their second belt. Saddam Hussein, Magomed and Karimov have been part of the PFL since the very beginning of this organization. Season 1, when I won a championship, little reminder for all of you. Larissa Pacheco could be the first 2-division champion. Marina Malkakina could pull off one of the biggest upsets in the sport. It would be the biggest upset on the card tomorrow night if she can make it happen. The heavyweights. This is the largest matchup in PFL history. Height-wise, reach-wise, weight-wise, these are 2 behemoths with a ton of experience. And as you heard earlier, maybe the winner can stake a claim to a Francis Ngannou fight. And how about this? The Canadian Gangster and Cassius Clay Collard in a main event. Will this be the last time we see OAN? Will this be the first time we see Clay Collard with a gold belt? Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on ESPN+.